Fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to the Falcoholic Lives Falcons vs 49ers Week 7 post-game show coming to you here pretty late, obviously, after this Sunday Night Football game. We will be back on a more normal schedule going forward, but unfortunately don't get to close it out with a win with these two tough primetime games. I think everyone pretty much wrote off the Bills game as being sort of a game that was very unlikely to be won, would be one way to put it, right? Instead, the Falcons come out and win that game in decisive fashion. I think gave us a lot of hope, but didn't follow that up in Week 7 against the 49ers, where the Falcons looked just kind of unprepared for what the 49ers were going to throw at them. The O-line had their worst game by far, I think, of the whole season. Penix was just getting pressured constantly. It was pretty ugly there, and I thought Zac Robinson did not answer the challenge. I think they did not come up with a game plan that was really beneficial against this 49ers defense. As depleted as it is, the fact that the Falcons were really not testing the middle of the field against this team kind of boggles the mind. This because that's I'm sure you guys know, Fred Warner's not in there, right? So an odd game, to say the least, one that the Falcons certainly could have won. But at the end of the day, it's a game that I think was truly like in play midway through the fourth quarter. The Falcons couldn't get it done on a critical drive to tie it up, and that was sort of the end of that. But I don't think this game is like catastrophic. I think a lot of people are having strong opinions about it, which you're entitled to. Definitely was not a fun watch, to say the least. But we'll get to that. But again, thank you guys for tuning into the Falcoholic Live, presented by FanDuel. Thanks again to FanDuel. And we have a very, very special guest, Cory Woodroof, popping in. Cory, welcome in. Thanks for joining the late show here. How are you? I got to make sure people can see you here. Hold on. They can hear you, but they might not be able to see you yet. So
yeah, most people can hear me. My voice is I'm pretty loud. I get told that when I go to restaurants.
Who's that guy? Who is that guy
Yeah.
over there? Yeah, how we doing, Cory? How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Thought I'd make a surprise cameo.
Yeah, well, we love to have it. I wish we could have delivered a better game for you. I know this team nearly broke you earlier this season, so I'm glad you survived. You're back out here. Got taken off IR, and we'll hope for better times for the Falcons. But a tough game tonight on Sunday Night Football.
It's so funny. I don't know if people can go way back to. I mean, I've been writing. I wrote for the Alcoholic for a very long time, and I have been so optimistic and oddly defensive at times of things that just weren't working. And that Panthers game really just, I don't know. It was just like the perfect storm to just finally kick me off Optimism Island once and for all. But I'm swimming back. I'm trying, but yeah, I mean, that was just kind of a nothing burger of a game. It was winnable at times. Like, they had moments where they were in position to maybe start to change the tide, but I really think that if I'm trying to be as objective as possible, that this is just one of those games that just shows the youth. And like, I know that the oldest roster stuff I think is very misleading, because this is still, to me, a very young football team. And it's just, consistency is a killer when you're trying to learn how to win this way in the NFL. And tonight they just got upstaged, and it's not comforting to say this, but it happens. And it's probably just one of those things where it's just like, as much as you don't want to forget the Bills feeling you had last week, and as much as you want to get that feeling back, like, it will probably come again, but the bummer is going to be you're probably going to have other days like this, and it's probably going to lead to a very seesaw season. But as if they're learning, good, because this is just the ugly part of growth, I guess.
Yeah, it can be, and there's really a lack of patience, like, by the NFL at large with quarterbacks. We've seen this with a lot of guys. I know there was a stat going around today about Drake May was like 2-10 in his first 12 starts or whatever. And obviously Drake May looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL now in his second season. So stuff can definitely change quickly. And welcome in Evan Birchfield as well. Make sure Evan gets his intro here in just a second. But it kind of all came to a head today, and I think it's obviously underrated how how much the short week affects teams coming off Monday Night Football, right into Sunday Night Football, which these primetime games, I think Gina Thomas was wise in our chat to mention just how disruptive the primetime schedule is to teams, especially when you got two in a row like this. And this is a Falcons team that's not, let's be honest, not really used to being in primetime very much. They just looked off, and the offensive line just looked complete. We know Jake Matthews is hurt, and he gutted through it, but, he's not at full strength, obviously. Elijah Wilkinson got exposed, and I thought Bergeron had a terrible game, too. Everybody really got their asses kicked out there up front, and not a great situation for a quarterback like Penix, who I think needs the extra time and needs stuff to be a little bit cleaner for him at this stage of his development. And right, I think there's a lot of things we're going to get to tonight about why that kind of came to a head tonight, and I think it kind of links back to the Panthers game as well, which is just this team is playing like they have an elite veteran signal caller. Like they're going for it on all these fourth downs in field goal range. They're asking Mike Penix to do a lot, and that's good for his growth, but it's not going to go right, and you can tell that he's not an elite or even an experienced veteran starter. And part of that has to do, obviously, with the fact that they can't trust the kicking game, which when you have a defense this good, you should just be leaning on the kicking game, because you don't need a lot of points to win these games. The Falcons kicked the field goal when they had the opportunity to do so in this game multiple times with a kicker that can hit from 55 out. They're pretty much tied at the end of this game, more or less, and it's a very different situation. Would it have made the difference? I don't know, but it definitely changes things where you can have a kicker to lean on. And it was a rough game tonight. There's no doubt about that. But before we get too farther, I want to bring in Evan Birchfield here. Evan, welcome back again. Sorry to get the Evan cameo again on a big L, a big primetime L, but happy to have you on, Evan. How are you doing tonight?
Not as good anymore. I was
Evan, I love the propaganda. I love that no matter what,
Yeah.
man, you're going for those red hats. Somebody's wearing a red hat tonight.
I've got it right here too.
It's gonna be him.
No, I mean, I would like to point out that they played amazing in the red helmets, and then, not so great in the regular unis. But no, I mean, I was looking forward to this game all week, kind of like a lot of people with kind of felt like our heads were in the clouds a little bit. And how could you not after beating the Bills, who many considered probably at that time, if not the best team in the NFL, like the second best team in the NFL. I think that's safe to say. And, not to like overlook the 49ers and stuff like that, but I don't think anybody thought they were as good as, what we played last week. Obviously, it being on the road, as Kevin mentioned, that Gina said, it is a challenge, doing those kind of primetime games like that, especially back to back. But coming away from this game, I feel I'm disappointed, obviously, because we lost, but I don't feel bad to where it's like, oh great, we suck. It just like it felt like we lost because of ourselves with a lot of aspects of the game. Not to take it away from the 49ers. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is freaking Christian McCaffrey, and Bijan Robinson went out of his way to try and train with Christian McCaffrey for a reason in the offseason, like we've heard about nonstop, because he's that sort of player, and he wanted to obviously make his receiving talents even better. And I think that's shown early this season. But, they shot themselves in the foot a lot. I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot, but certain play calls were just suspect in my eyes. And then obviously, I mean, you can notice a big change in the defense when Deablo left. It seemed like it was like an instant. And I don't know what to really make of that, because like, I don't think, great defenses like they were talked about all week should just be completely like almost fold when one player leaves. In like, not to take it away from Divine Deablo, but like you hope that other aspects of the defense step up. And I don't think anybody's going to just blame the defense or anything for the loss, because the offense, in my eyes, had plenty of opportunities to kind of put them over the top. And we didn't get blown out. We lost 20-10. Yeah, I think that 30-0 loss to the Panthers was more like, what the hell is going on? This just kind of felt like like we lost. The opportunities were there. but this happened and this happened or this didn't happen and we decided to do this instead. And it's like that one of those kind of games to me where I'm not like going to lose sleep tonight, but at the same time it's like, dude, why did we do this? Why didn't we do this? Or, you can't help injuries. Injuries happen, but the offensive line looked like shit. Like,
Yeah.
Ask that.
Yeah,
There's no
it was bad.
Put
Yeah, there's
lipstick
no
on-
way. There's no way to no way to sugarcoat
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I totally agree. And I think that's really the crux of it. I thought that they were off schedule from the moment the game started. They were not winning their run blocks either, and that was a big reason why the run game couldn't get going. And then, the pass protection just wasn't consistent at all. They were not picking up what the games that the 49ers were playing up front, and that was causing a lot of chaos for Penix. And again, it's like it's a young offense. There's obviously a lot of parts going on there, but I just don't think Zac Robinson is like maximizing these pieces either. And I think that's been a consistent issue this year. Like, he's been able to deliver some good games here and there, but I don't think if you ask 10 people, like, is this what you would draw up for this team? I don't think a lot of people would draw this up. And like, to some extent, being weird and different can be good. It can lead to like really interesting stuff, but I think we've just gone kind of too far with what Robinson's trying to do here. It just, the refusal to use under center, like Michael Penix can play under center, guys. I don't understand why you would intentionally design an offense to never use under center. Like, I don't care really. Like, I don't really have a problem with pistol or shotgun or any of that. Like, I don't really care about that. But refusing to like use under center in your offense, except when you're sneaking Felipe Franks, is just like, it's just bizarre to me. Like, there's some plays and some situations that just demand that formation, and you just should use that formation for, like, short yardage running or short yardage play action. Like, it's just, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you refuse to use that formation there, and I just don't really get it personally. But I don't think there were great like hot reads for Penix tonight either. I think they thought their protection was going to be much better. I think you could tell the game plan was supposed to be a lot more aggressive and downfield. It was odd how much outside emphasis there was in this game. They did have that one really good route they kept drawing up to Pitts where he kind of just did a little stutter and was getting open outside. But that was, there was really not as much over the middle stuff as you would think against a 49ers defense. That's just, they're really depleted in that area. Like, they're down Fred Warner, that their safeties are very vulnerable. They've been giving up big plays there, and we just didn't see them attack that area. It was a lot of slants and short stuff, but I think they tried some crossers that were going to come open, and Penix was under pressure too quickly. They couldn't get the ball out. There were obviously some drops too. There were some issues there. Like, that 4th and 1, Drake London had that ball in his hands. He just dropped it. Like, I know the corner got his hand on it a little bit, but like, I need Drake to make that catch too. Like, I have more of a problem with the 3rd and 1 call than I do with the pass play there. But just a frustrating game on all counts. And when you just piss away 3 points before the half too, just completely unnecessarily, like
back-to-back weeks to like pissing away points.
Yeah. I mean, last week I don't really care because that
Well,
not that. I know you mean like the not taking
the
the time out. Yeah. I briefly misunderstood. I know what you mean. Like, they should have used their timeouts effectively, and then we wouldn't have had, because Drake was, I know you're on board with Drake going for it. It's just like they should have had time. Yeah, they should have had time. So yeah.
No. They burnt like 20 seconds or something just to like get before that point. So yeah,
because ridiculous.
Not him getting out of bounds and not scoring doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's been a rough one. Adnan Ikic coming in here. I know Adnan was enjoying the game. With has now joined us as well. Adnan, how are you handling what was a kind of a wet fart of a game tonight, if I do say so myself?
Look, man, I looked at the title of the video that you posted up, Atlanta outcoached on Sunday Night Football, and I think it's very fitting. It's a very fitting and accurate title because at the end of the day, it goes back to that consistency issue that we've talked about and that we've harped on, and it was, they beat the Bills. Are they now going to be able to get up for Sunday Night Football? Are they going to be able to get up? I made the analogy, Brent Key's analogy. Are you going to be able to survive the descent from Mount Everest after having already successfully climbed it against the Bills. And I mean, this coaching staff, I mean, they've proven it to you week in and week out. They don't get this team up. They don't get them ready to play when they're coming off of a big win. It almost feels like this team needs to fall flat on their face or to have a bye week for them to, actually take the next game seriously. And that comes back to coaching. It all comes back to coaching, because this was a game where you really had no excuse of losing given the injuries that the 49ers had. And the team came out there, especially on offense, and they once again, just like the Panthers game, they looked like they just sort of, had this one in the bag, and it's just sort of unacceptable. And it goes back to coaching.
Yeah, it's just a shame. This was an opportunity, I think, for them to get a win here and get to 4-2, which is a record. Like, to be clear, 3-3 is totally on track. Like, we're not really panicking or anything with this. It's just like they could have been 4-2 here with an opportunity to go 5-2 against the Dolphins next week, which that game is now back to being a must win. And just kind of inexplicable, fumbling here, and we just need to see better. And you're absolutely right. Like, the consistency with this coaching staff, I think, is the biggest issue. They just can't seem to keep this team focused on a week-to-week basis. And some of that is like just that I think they're coming up with like game plans that maybe aren't the best, but some of that is also like mental and psychological. And you have to find a way to keep the train on the tracks. It's a long season, and we've seen this team fall apart in the middle of it far too often. And at 3-3, like they're very much prone to falling apart again. Like we're not anywhere near where we need to be. And I don't know, this team just seems to have a habit of just kind of getting too high on themselves. Like you haven't accomplished anything.
Why?
I don't understand. Like
that's my thing. I don't mean to hijack the conversation, but you haven't made the playoffs in 7 years, and I don't think a single one of these players on this Falcons team has ever done a damn thing in their career to warrant that sort of level of self-confidence and ego and just cockiness. It's I don't get it. Why do you think that anyone's going to lay down for you the next, especially a 4-2 49ers team that's one of the best coached in the league? I don't know. It's just it's frustrating, because it's you haven't proven anything.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of issues here. We're going to get to more of those. I do want to get to you guys' questions as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for donating. We got, I can't see your name. That's weird. But Grant, I know who you are, Grant. I'm missing up your name. But you, with the $5, the first donation, came in before the show. So it's Grant Watson, I believe, is who it is. But if I'm wrong about that, let me know. It came in just before the show went live, so for whatever reason it's not showing up for me, but I did try to screen grab it. So we got, it's frustrating when players make mistakes, but it's more frustrating when the coaches make mistakes, and not having a kicker that the staff trusts is compromising this offense. Yeah, that was definitely something I touched on a little bit earlier in the show, but that's another good one to touch on here. I think the lack of a trustworthy kicking game is a major reason for this team being so low on the points, because again, I think the defense is good enough that you might just want to lean on the kicking game at times. I don't think you want to force Penix to have to make critical plays, or you don't really want to have to go for it all the time. If you're in a tight game like this, you want to be able to just kick it and take the points in certain situations. And it feels like they don't trust Parker Romo to hit anything long in the slightest. And I think it's a big deal. Yeah.
A big deal, but also it's so with that 4th and 1, I think it would have been a 53-yarder if they would have went for it. In that instance, I liked going for it. It's a hindsight thing. I wasn't a big fan of the play call there, doing shotgun with Algier and Bijan completely off the field didn't make sense to me. So I was okay with not kicking the field goal there. I don't know, it could be they were afraid of kicking, but at the same time, it's Parker Romo, I know he's had a couple ups and downs there, but he made his one kick that they let him actually kick. So I think it's kind of unfair to just not even okay, if you don't trust him, then that's on you for having a kicker you don't trust. there's zero defense there in my eyes to where it's like, oh, well, they just don't have a kicker they trust. That's your fault. I don't work for the team at all. And I was saying all off season, even into last season, like have some competition for Younghoe Koo. And they just didn't. They never took it seriously, like even just bringing in a veteran to compete or something like that. There's other veterans out there. I mean, the 49ers did it with Eddie Pinheiro. And then the guy they got rid of, Moody, who I believe is in Carolina, has been kicking fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. You can go find other kickers if you don't believe in Parker Romo. I haven't seen enough to be like I obviously don't see what they're seeing in practice, but like if he looks like shit, replace him. Like I don't understand why we're sitting around to it. If like, okay, Younghoe Koo's gone. Like we have Parker Romo now. I'm still on the Parker Romo believer train, but like I'm also not like I'm driving the Matt Bryant train that's already been, over with and stuff like that. So I got rid of Parker Romo. I'm not losing sleep. Like make a move if you don't trust him. Like I don't understand. But
Evan,
if they're true, let him kick long.
If Matt Bryant was gonna come out of retirement, would you sign him right now? I think you would.
I don't even care. If my life was on the line, I'd have him back there.
I honestly feel more confident in Matt Bryant off the street than anyone on the Falcons roster at this moment, just because I feel like Matt Bryant would never let me down. One kick, like maybe he'll pull something because he's not in shape, hasn't kicked in a long time. Maybe he's kicking regularly still. I don't know. But like if it's just one kick, and he's down first, it has to be consensual on the part of, Matt Bryant, obviously. But, I don't want him just pulling anything for nothing. But, still love Matt Bryant. And shout out to Matt for coming on the show. It's one of the most fun shows we had, I think. Love Matt Bryant.
One of the most fun after shows, too.
Yeah. Save that for like the behind the scenes tour like that we do, when we all retire in like 40 years or something. So maybe earlier, hopefully. But yeah, guys, let me get to some more of your questions here. We got Shay E. That's all I can see. I'm sorry. With the $5 saying, not just because of this game, but I'm over the Raheem experience. Terrible game management. Zero emotions on the sidelines. Can we get a real coach? Well, I think a lot of people are asking questions. The game management is becoming something that's costing them games, I think. So that is, I think, a big concern. We got Love Dogs Avery with a couple here. At least they had points tonight. And also not angry. Tonight did have sort of the makings of a brutal loss. Yeah, I agree. I think it did kind of feel off to me all week. Like, team that we should beat, that's looking injured, are they going to take it seriously enough? I don't think they took the 49ers pass rush seriously at all. It didn't look like they did, at least, and the game plan wasn't ready for it. The offensive line wasn't ready for it. Didn't love much about how they handled the pressure. Didn't seem like they were prepared, which you don't like to see that. You should be more prepared for pressure against Robert Saleh, who's known for dialing it up, and against, in a difficult place to play. San Francisco is not an easy place to go win. And we all have to keep in mind, this is a 4-2 49ers team. Yeah, they're hurt. They've been hurt all season. They're still winning games. The Bucs were the first team in a while to find a way to take them down. And they were the number one passing offense going into this game also.
Yeah, for fantasy purposes, I've paid attention to the 49ers recently just because I've had like Kendrick Bourne, who the last 2 weeks went off. He did like 2 catches against us. He was like a non-factor. Juwan Jennings, he's dealing with, I think, like a rib injury and some other stuff. He had a couple catches, but nothing crazy. Mac Jones, I've been saying before, Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy. I always said before that Sam Darnold should have been their quarterback ahead of Brock Purdy, and they let Sam Darnold go. I'm not a Brock Purdy fan. I think Mac Jones is better, and he only had like 150 yards. So like the 49ers offense, it was just Christian McCaffrey. Everybody else, the Falcons kind of did a good job.
And you left him wide open on the biggest play of the game because you had 10 players on the field, which, again, goes back to completely unacceptable coaching. I mean, everything about – look, man, we know it's not a secret. I'm not a Raheem Morris fan. I called for his job openly after that first season. I wasn't a fan of hiring him in the first place. And time in and time out, he just sort of proved me right. And I mean, tonight was another example. Like, for one, like there were so many, and not just the fact that this team didn't get up for this week, especially on offense, which is again, it's completely unacceptable coaching, but just like the in-game stuff. For one, that delay of game that sort of knocked you out of the fringe of the edge of field goal range on that 3rd and 9. What the hell is Raheem Morris doing there? Like, you as a coach have got to sort of, be the backup to your quarterback there. You have to run down the sideline and call that timeout. How many coaches, all of the coaches around the NFL do that. If the quarterback can't like see it, can't notice it, you as the coach have got to make that move instead of, Raheem Morris just looking at the jumbotron or at the replay, like, screen every single time the camera pans to him. And then, 10 players on the field in the most crucial play of the game is just, come on, man. Like, that's amateurish. Like, a high school defense won't make that mistake. Not in that moment. You just had a huge tackle for loss. It's 3rd and 13.
Yeah,
This
great
is the
play.
game.
Awesome
This
play.
is the game.
Yeah.
You run out there with 10 players on the field and you leave Christian McCaffrey, their one weapon in the game who has hurt you. You leave him wide open. It's I don't know, man. Like, I feel like from a macro sense, 3-3 is not the end of the world. Like, coming into the season, I feel like a lot of us would have even taken 3-3. It's just the way that these losses have happened and what this team has shown 7 weeks, 6 games, 7 weeks into the season. There's some real foundational issues, and I do not think that this coaching staff is the right one to sort of lead this team to success. And I feel like, these wins that they've gotten, it's been in spite of the coaches instead of because of them. And, I don't like Jeff Ulbrich is excluded from this. Jeff Ulbrich has done a great job. I don't criticize him at all. I'm more so criticizing Morris and Zac Robinson. And Evan, I'm with you on that 4th and 1. I'm completely okay with going for it on 4th down. Like, analytically, that is the right play. Like, that is the move to make. I hated lining up in the shotgun though. Like, why are you in the shotgun? Why is Bijan Robinson off the field?
Bijan has to be on the field in that situation. Like, if he needs a break, you got to call a timeout. Like, I totally agree. Like,
and you're putting yourself back like 4 yards or whatever for no reason. Like, in the Falcaholic chat we have, I'm like, why not do that Felipe Franks thing again? Like, even if it fails something, you just need.
It works. Like, that type of stuff works because you just need to create a push. And the Falcons were able to create a push, but they were just not picking up what the 49ers were doing very well. Like, they were getting penetration by just sending guys from everywhere. It was causing a lot of havoc. Falcons didn't look ready for it. So, like, don't give them a chance to send somebody on a long developing run. Just sneak it, right? Like, they were okay at running that. It was just, it was frustrating. And, then you go back, and I think you get, I think, like, Drake should have had that 4th down. I mean, that's a tough catch. Obviously, the defender gets a hand on it. He should have had that catch. It was right in his hands. And it shouldn't have come to that, and I think that's kind of the theme of this game. Like, it shouldn't have come to that. Like, end of halftime, 17 seconds on the clock, you're 22 yards out. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if you're going to run that, you need to have, like, a clear play there. And Penix can't make that decision. I'm not excusing that, but, like, 17 seconds, no timeouts, and you've been getting pressured a lot. So, like, what happens if pressure gets through? What was the plan there? Like, I just don't, like, there were so many that there was not a hot read. There was not a quick out there to hit to get out of bounds. Like, it was like Penix either had to take a sack or throw it away because he didn't have time to complete the play. It just, you're caught your pants down. It's like, did you guys not consider that they might get through the line? Like, they might do what they've done on like 40% of his dropbacks tonight, which is pressure him or get right in his face. Like, you have to expect, like, what if it goes wrong and not just what if it goes right? And your defense is good enough that you don't have to maximize every single possession. You don't have to get a touchdown on every play. Like, trust the defense, find a kicker you can trust. And, like, sometimes it's okay to just kick it. Sometimes it's okay to just kick that and go into the half, only down 3 or only down, whatever, instead of 10, right?
You know what else the defense is good enough for? It's good enough to actually to actually defer the damn coin toss.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. This
Thank
is the
you.
only team in the league, seemingly, that decides to receive the kick every single time they win the coin toss. Analytically, that is the most moronic thing you can do. You are basically just about costing yourself a full possession. Every single time, defer it, defer it. Even if your defense is bad, defer it. But instead, to Raheem Morris, who is coaching off vibes instead of, actual, analytics and stuff that actually works. And it's no, we want the ball first. We want the ball first. Why do you want the ball first? Like, I hate envisioning going into every single half. I hate coming to that realization that, oh, damn, the other team's going to get the ball, in the second half. Like, this sucks. Like, your defense, especially now, your defense is good enough. Defer the ball, go out there, get a stop, and then you're in plus territory already.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So
Go for it, Corey. Yeah.
yeah, man. So as I've kind of been thinking, I think like again, I have worked really hard in the last few weeks not to fully give in to the darkness that I feel creeping up on me.
He's got the
That's
dark
like that's
permit
kind of
just
like
looking at
I'm
him
trying
in the
not to go
mirror.
to the
Yeah.
dark side. That's been my goal. Adnan and I in the Falcoholic chat have been kindred spirits this season because I've never been that pulled to kind of the more pessimistic side. But it does
Normally, we're
feel
on the
good.
opposite ends of the spectrum. Corey is normally the most optimistic, and then I'm, just natural pessimist over here, who doesn't trust this team. And this year, it's been kind of creepy. It's been
Yeah,
creepy
exactly.
seeing Corey, completely give in. And I was like, damn, like they're really getting to him now too.
And like, I don't think overall this is a bad coaching staff. But what I do think is that right now they are struggling to adjust when what I'm guessing what they really want to lean on doesn't work. And to me, that is a sign of inexperience. It is a sign of, and again, like, I think Penix has shown a lot this season that you can feel good about. But I also feel like that he is not the quarterback that if he gets thrown to the wolves, he's going to be able to get up and sucker punch every single time. Because tonight, again, he has to have that run game going. And the one thing that I kind of feel a little peeved about is that the 49ers have a very good run defense. And you had to have known that them bottling up Bijan Robinson was going to be a possibility. And it seemed to me like there's been such a hesitance to lean on the downfield passing game too much. I think because they're probably not 100% trusting Penix with his decision making right now. He's had some turnover worthy plays this year. I get that. Like, again, he's a young quarterback. You do not want him airing it out a ton. Young quarterbacks don't thrive when they're throwing 35 plus passes a game. It just doesn't happen in the NFL like you want it to. And again, if this offense doesn't get Bijan Robinson going, they have to go off what they like. They have to improvise. And tonight, you didn't have the offensive line blocking as well as they have been. This, I thought, was the worst line or the worst performance of the year for the offensive line. I just thought they were outmatched. And, I think some of that was coaching. I think some of that was just guys not having great nights that normally play better. But, like, again, Michael Penix cannot be the focal point of your offense right now. And if you get into a situation where you already have an offensive play caller who we're not 100% sure always makes the best call, you mesh that with a quarterback who doesn't play well under duress, who's having to improvise probably what the game plan was going to be because they were bottling up Bijan Robinson really well. Robert Saleh did an excellent job tonight. He had Penix in hell. He had the run game in hell. But at the end of the day, I really just think this offensive staff in particular just overthinks themselves. I think genuinely they try to get too cute. They try to out scheme. Just keep it simple. I think that to me is the key to this team finding more consistency on offense. They have to keep it simple. Just use the guys again. Like I thought Matt Harmon made a really good point on social media just a bit ago that like tonight they weren't spamming Drake London, and you've seen what happens when this offense just keeps it simple and throws the ball to the good players. If Bijan Robinson's not going, keep the ball going to London, keep the ball going to Pitts. I don't understand at times, and again it's tough when your quarterback is taking so much heat and he's young and he's playing on the road, and you already know that his road skills are not exactly where they need to be, as it's really hard for young guys to be magnificent on the road every single time. But I just think this coaching staff has to take more deep breaths and just try to keep things simple when they need to be simple. Because tonight, to me, was a classic example. They just try to get too cute. They try to do too much to out chess. Okay. And again, sometimes football is not a chess game. Sometimes football is chicken in the pool, and you just got to push the other guy off. And I just feel like this offense too often doesn't understand that, like, you don't have a veteran quarterback who's got a ton of snaps under his belt playing right now. Like, you can't always just go out there and expect that, like, Casey Washington is going to be your best option on third down. You can't expect that, like, this behind the line throw that you do to Bijan Robinson in crunch time is going to get the blocking. It's just keep it simple. Just do the obvious thing and make the other team adjust. And I think that's the way that young teams win. Like, honestly, the Patriots are a great example. They're not doing anything super special on offense, but they're playing to Drake May's strengths, and that's why they're thriving right now. And I just wish that this Falcons team would just keep it more simple. Just, if the Bijan stuff isn't working, okay, do the obvious passing, do the stuff that you've seen work in the past few weeks. But tonight, I just think this coaching staff got in their head, and I just think that they beat themselves, and then the 49ers joined in. It was just too punching in the wrong way, and I don't know what that means for the rest of the year. I don't think the schedule is going to be easy, but I think that this team will find more consistency if they just keep things simple on offense. But so far, I just don't see that on a consistent weekly basis.
Yeah. No, I think that's really well said, Corey. I think you got into a lot of the issues here. Like, it seems like there's just this temptation to, like, do this, like, really special offense here. And, like, again, like, I like innovation. I like trying new things. I think it's cool. Like, when we saw like Charlie Werner playing in the backfield, like when they do some of the pistol stuff as like the running back, like, I was like, oh, this is cool. That's a nice little wrinkle. That's like their base package now. Like, can Charlie Werner play tight end at some point? Like, he's basically like playing like a blocking fullback as a pass protector, and like, that hasn't really produced great results, I would say, because he doesn't seem to be picking stuff up super well. Like, on one of the sacks, like, he just goes to the left side of the line when there's like unblocked rushers coming from the right, just doesn't even read the rush very well. Like, maybe we should have him play tight end because he's a tight end, and maybe he can do tight end stuff. Like, I don't think leaving him in the backfield as a blocker is a great use of his talents personally. Now, I it's a fun wrinkle. I think it is interesting. I think it like puts teams in some interesting situations, but like, they've like just decided like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing now. Like, yeah, Charlie Werner's going to stay in the backfield and everything. Nobody does that. And there's a reason that nobody does that, because you're basically wasting your tight end as like a permanent pass protector. Like, you're playing 6-OL, but like, you're not really having him on the line of scrimmage. You're having him in the backfield. It's very odd, okay? And that's kind of what I think about this Falcons offense as a whole. It's very odd. It's very weird. And, like, sometimes it makes fun things happen. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, some of the little wrinkles and things they have are fun. The Kyle Pitts screen was fun the first time it worked. It was less fun like the 4 other times they tried to run it in this game and every week since. When you have Bijan Robinson, you should just throw screens to Bijan Robinson. If you do a screen to anyone else, you're wasting your time. I'm sorry. Like, that's just what it is. They do seem to be overly reliant on that play as like one of their only short yardage options, that and the slant. Like, they don't throw a lot of quick outs. They don't seem to have the timing down on those well. Like, again, like that one to Drake on 4th and 1 was almost picked, and Penix has been picked on that route multiple times. They need to get that figured out. Like, it seems like something's wrong about the operation of that route, because that route should not be getting jumped the way it is so consistently. I don't know if they have a tell and what they're doing or what, but that's not great. Where's the middle of the field stuff? Like, everyone says Penix can't throw middle of the field, but like, whenever I see him throw middle of the field, it typically looks good. So like, I mean, I get that it just feels like they thought they would be hitting these intermediate crossers and this deeper stuff. They got pressured like crazy, and they didn't really adjust it to like, can we bring those crossers like 10 yards closer and just hit that 5-yard crosser instead of that 15-yard crosser? He might have been able to get those off instead, but just a very bizarre sort of total offense. Like, no other offense looks like this in the NFL.
Yeah, and who
So
did we say that about for 3 years, from 2021 to 2023? That it was this guy who was doing things way too complicated, and the offense doesn't look like any other NFL thing. And if they just stick to the simple stuff, it would work. Like, again, we're reliving the same stuff we did with Arthur Smith with a better defense. Like,
yeah,
again, that was always to me the problem with the Arthur Smith offense is that sometimes he would just refuse to be normal. It's like that gif that's like they scream at the kid in the back seat, like, why can't you be normal? And he's like, yeah. Again, like Arthur Smith tried to revolutionize the game of football when he was here, when he got the job in Atlanta, because in Tennessee he didn't try to overcomplicate it. He just spammed good plays to his good players. And I feel like when the Falcons do that, they succeed. And tonight they just tried to get too cute against a coaching staff that they're probably way too familiar with. And I think that, it didn't work. And you don't have a quarterback right now who's going to be able to go out there and let you flex yourself in the way that you want to with the scheme. Like, it's just not going to happen. And it's not Penix's fault. Robert Saleh is one of the best defensive coordinators in football. And injuries be damned, like a really good defensive coordinator can put your rookie quarterback, quote unquote, in hell. So it's just like, keep it simple. Like, again, Arthur Smith lost his job because he just could not keep it simple. It's like, let a running back be a running back. Don't make Jonnu Smith a quarterback or whatever. It's just like, just be normal. And I wish this Falcons team, again, I do think that they've been good at learning lessons this year in terms of like taking a hard lesson and making something happen with it. And I really hope that this makes them simplify the offense more to what works so well against Washington and works so well against Buffalo. It's like, you don't need Penix to be perfect. He's going to make mistakes, but even if Bijan is not getting the normal gains that he gets, just try throwing to London a bunch of times and see if it works. Like, again, just keep it simple. It's okay to be a little predictable. Like, to me, they're predictable in the wrong ways, and it burns against a well-coached team like San Francisco.
yeah, it absolutely does.
A-
Yeah,
And
go
I mean,
ahead.
you mentioned the Patriots. I was going to bring up the Patriots too because Mike Vrabel was like the guy I wanted after they fired Arthur Smith. Well, Ben Johnson was the guy, but Ben Johnson was the guy everyone wanted.
Mhm.
But like outside of Ben Johnson, like I was baffled that nobody was running to hire Mike Vrabel, including the
Mhm.
Falcons, because he was, I mean, one, he completely turned that culture around in Tennessee. Corey, you're over in Nashville, and I mean, you have a direct look at the Titans, and you've seen how the Titans have looked since Michael Vrabel has left. But yeah, I mean, you look at just an apples to apples comparison of the Patriots also beat the Bills in a highly emotional, huge primetime game the week before the Falcons did, and look at the difference in how the Patriots have sort of carried themselves since then versus how the Falcons have now carried themselves 1 week later. Sure, the Patriots had some struggles against the Saints team that's been, rather frisky this season, a bit friskier than than we thought. But they came out and they won the next week. They kept sort of a level head, and now they came out and absolutely beat the shit out of the Titans tonight.
They
And
did.
yeah,
They
and
did.
then you look at the Falcons, and it's like, okay, the next week that they just felt themselves. Every team sort of takes the identity of their coach in a way, at least a little bit. Every single team, it's just natural, and it kind of feels like the Falcons have taken that identity of Raheem Morris, of the the rah rah, everything's always so happy go lucky, smiling, like we're okay. Like, no, we're not okay. Like, it's go out there. Like, there's a reason why Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time. He never let his team sort of get too high, like too emotional after a win. And that those Patriots teams more than deserved, to rest on their laurels during the Tom Brady days. Nick Saban's teams in college, Nick Saban always talked about rat poison. He always talked about, oh yeah, like we're not letting the media hype us up. Like Kirby Smart now at UGA, like Kirby Smart probably has his coaching staff and his interns are writing on message boards about how the Bulldogs are going to win 7 games the next year, because he was talking about, oh yeah, like a couple of years ago, oh, they were talking about how we're going to win 7 games. Nobody ever said that, but he doesn't let he doesn't let the outside noise get to you. The Falcons, this coaching staff, this team lets the outside noise get to them. They let the media sort of prop them up, and they think to themselves, oh yeah, we are hot shit. Yeah, we are those guys. Because I'm convinced that they do, because they've let it happen twice now. All week, what we heard about, oh yeah, the Falcons are them. Like, this is going to be a legit team in the NFC. They just beat the Buffalo Bills. and now they come out and, absolutely get their shit rocked against San Francisco, at least on offense. Whereas it's like, having a legitimate, experienced, real head coach with actual NFL success, like Mike Vrabel, that's where that's most like beneficial. But the Falcons don't have that. The Falcons have Raheem Morris.
Well, there's a youthful arrogance there. I think is a great point. I mean, the team talks about itself in a very positive way. And I think it's good to believe in yourself. I think it's good to adapt a mentality of that we can do things. But I think that it's equally important to adapt a mentality of, well, sometimes things don't go our way. And I'll be honest, Bijan Robinson is the best communicator the football team has. He is constantly humble. He said exactly what needed to be said after that Panthers game, that like, look, this is going to make or break us. And he keeps his head down. He doesn't talk like they're the greatest team in the NFL. And again, he's maybe the best player in the NFL pound for pound right now, but you never know it. And it's just like, I wish this team would lean in more to that mentality, at least publicly facing than the other, because like, again, youthful arrogance can be fixed. And I think that it's very, very, very important to put that caveat into any conversation about the Falcons right now, because this is a very young team and they're going to make dumb mistakes. They're going to have moments that are going to make you pull your hair out. But to me, that's not necessarily indicative, at least with the personnel, for where this team is going to be 2-3 years from now. Now, again, a lot of that depends on the coaching. A lot of that depends on continued development. It's too early to say anything about Penix. I still think that, as much as there's a part of me that wants to be like, Benjamin, put Kirk. Yeah, it's stupid. Penix has shown plenty to make you feel he can do this job for the long term, but he's shown you things that are also deeply frustrating and indicative that he's just a young guy still trying to figure it out. But again, to Adnan's point, you got to have somebody that's going to keep things level in that moment. And it's just like, you hear a lot of great things about Raheem Morris, but the product on the field shows a team that is high variance. And you cannot win consistently in the NFL with high variance performance. You can't do it. You can beat the Bills one week, yes, but you can also get your butt kicked by San Francisco the next. And again, that is what Mike Vrabel did a great job of in Tennessee. It's what he's doing in New England. He keeps those guys level. And again, I think Raheem Morris can do it. I think he's very capable. Like, I think Raheem Morris is a very smart coach. But I also think Raheem Morris hasn't quite learned yet how to get his guys week in, week out to do what they need to do to be a consistent team in the NFL. And again, it's tough to do with young players. It's tough to do with coaches who haven't done it as much, but you have to do it.
My
and
thing
I think
with,
that, yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but my thing with
Yeah, man.
Morris is the whole point of hiring Morris, and this is what they were trying to sell us on last year, is he's not a rookie head coach. He's a guy that's done it. He's a guy that's been there before. He's a guy where we're going to have instant success because we don't have to go through those, rookie head coach like roadblocks that, you would expect that you saw from Arthur Smith, that you can, see from a lot of rookie head coaches. And then Raheem Morris looked every bit of a rookie head coach last year, and he still to this day, this season, is looking like a rookie head coach. What was the point of hiring this, ready-made head coach that has all this experience when he's coming out looking like a rookie anyway?
I think it's because he kind of is. Like, I think that those years with the Bucks were kind of fluky. Like, I think he got put in that job way too early. And, I think that, like, the coaching experience they sold with him, I think, was completely overblown. I think you're right. Like, I think that he is still, quote unquote, a young head coach for the experience. Because, again, the NFL has just, it's not the same game that he was, coaching in the late thousands, early 2010s. But at the same time, to your point, like, this is around the time when you need a guy on his second stint to like show he can put that consistency on the field. And again, when they chose to go with Penix, there was going to be a level of this where it's like there's just going to be some inconsistency organically. But I think that you are like right on the money. It's like kind of, it's like you are kind of a rookie, but also kind of not, right? Like, again, it's just, we have to see the consistency. And until you see that, it's going to be hard to fully buy into this regime. And it's just like, there's never going to be a moment to me where people who are frustrated with this coaching staff and want change are going to be quote unquote wrong, because it's just like, they were sold a big game. It's the same mentality that I think the franchise has just struggled with so consistently of like, well, we're close. We're just a Kirk away. Like we're just a Raheem Morris away, right? We need somebody to just press the buttons and everything's going to be fine. And it's like, that was never the case. Like the team had way more flaws than nobody wanted to admit. They were never a quarterback away. And this season coming in, like they're a young team. They need discipline. They need consistent leadership. And it's like, again, I believe in Ray Morris as a person. I think he's a smart guy, but like how this team comes out of this game to me is crucial because like you have to be more consistent. Otherwise, like I'm not, I don't like calling for people's jobs, but like after that, it's like you've got 2 years of inconsistency, and I don't know when things are going to click. Maybe they get off with the fact that they can say, look, we had a rookie quarterback. He goes where we go. But like at the end of the day, it's like if you have a rookie quarterback, the coaching has to step up and make the difference.
Yeah, totally. No, you guys raised some excellent points. Thank you guys for coming on and helping me out here tonight. Yeah, I totally agree with all this stuff. I think you bring up a lot of excellent reasoning here with Raheem kind of looking like a younger coach than he is, and I think it's a matter of expectations, and I think the Falcons have done a poor job of setting them, but I think they've also like not helped themselves because in a way it's sort of like they're holding themselves back with the coaching staff kind of not being where they need to be, and like they've also I think set up Penix to really take the brunt of this where they made him the face of the team and like hyped up all summer. Oh, it's bombs away with Penix. He's just going to be launching this thing all week long. And like, they haven't really shown a willingness to play football like that. Obviously the offense isn't really built to do that. Like, I mean, the offensive line is not where it needs to be. You've got your third string tackle out there at right tackle. They were getting cooked today. Like every single person on the offensive line was getting cooked today. That was a big reason. And we're really like, as frustrating as watching Michael Penix and most young quarterbacks will be, go watch Jaden Daniels today, guys. Tell me how he looked. Like just saying, like like Drake May was 2-10 in his first starts, right? It takes time. It takes a coaching staff that's a good fit. It takes an offense that's a good fit. It takes patience. It takes experience. It takes reps. Like whatever you think about Penix so far, we don't know enough. And that I think that's the shortest and most succinct way to say it is we're not going to know enough. Maybe by the end of this year, we'll have enough of a sample size to make a more educated guess for the future. But even that, we're talking about a hair over one season worth of games. And Matt Ryan wasn't really the engine of this team until year 3? I mean,
even 5.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it really wasn't that until that passing attack was what it was. Cause it was just, they were leaning on Michael Turner so heavily those first couple of years.
Yeah, and like Penix isn't like a great quarterback right now, but I think if you expected him to be a great quarterback right now, you were setting yourself up to be really disappointed because that would have been awesome if he was. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's very unlikely that happens. And when it does happen, it usually doesn't last. Look at CJ Stroud. Look at Jaden Daniels. Like, I mean, again, with like Jaden Daniels, the quarterbacks that can run are always going to have an advantage, especially early in their career, because that is a trump card that they have to get out of jail free. Penix doesn't have the get out of jail free card. He's going to have to learn how to beat defenses with his eyes and with his arm. And a blind man could listen to the spiral of a Michael Penix pass and tell you that he is a talented and high-end NFL quarterback. That arm strength, that arm talent is special. And you saw it plenty of times tonight. He dropped a beautiful pass to Darnell Mooney that Darnell Mooney dropped. And then he went right back to Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney got the second one. But like that was like a 60-yard bullet like down into 49ers territory on the first play from scrimmage. Like that's a big-time throw. Mooney dropped it, but it is what it is. Like that screen to Bijan that if Penix doesn't throw that with that velocity, that crazy fast velocity, Bijan's getting tackled for a loss because the guys are right in his face. Penix is delivering some fantastic plays, and he's also delivering some not good plays, and he's not very consistent. And that's totally normal for a young quarterback. So I just think people need to really... I'm not saying Penix is going to be a franchise quarterback or he's going to be a bust. I think if you're saying one or the other, you're just guessing, and that's fine. It's fun to guess. It's fun to talk about this. That's why we're here. But like, we don't really have an answer. So if you feel very confident one way or the other about Michael Penix, you don't really have any like hard data to base it off of, and that's fine. But just, we should all be cognizant of the fact that we're really like far away from probably knowing one way or the other in terms of data on Michael Penix.
I like what Aaron Freeman said on his show. Like Penix is on track.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
yeah, he's on track. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing right now with, mistakes, with highlights. And again, it gets really easy to want to pull the ripcord with young quarterbacks because of the frustrations. Like again, after that Carolina game, like I was about ready. Like I was ready to be like, look, you got Kirk, screw it. Like let's just but again, there's an impulse there that I think that this coaching staff probably manages much better than I would, to be like, okay, you got good Penix this week, you got not so good Penix this week. But this game affirmed to me they got to give him more help. Like again, it's just like right now, the offensive scheme is not putting Penix in the best position to succeed in certain situations. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And everybody's got to get on the same page finally for this thing to really take off. Like, I don't know what the future holds. You're right. Like, nobody knows. Like, I'm encouraged. I think Penix can do the job long term if he continues to develop. But at the same time, like, you can't put this much on a young quarterback. And again, the weeks where they've been really good have been the weeks when they've been primarily able to run the ball and use Penix's arm talent and his tenacity to salt plays and keep drives alive and get the downs needed. And that's how a young quarterback thrives. And it's like, if the run game can't get going, this offense is going to struggle. Like he cannot air it out consistently. And with this offensive line suffering the way that it has with injuries at the right tackle position, especially, it's just going to be really, really hard for them to be a consistent contender. And it's probably why this team has a pretty legitimate ceiling this year. I don't think the floor is as bad as I thought it could be. And we've seen how bad the floor can be. But again, that Bills win to me was them bumping the ceiling. It's like, yeah, you still see the mistakes, but at, 6 games in, I don't know how much the mistakes are a bug and how much they're a feature. Like, again, I don't know how much we're going to be talking about this team making mistakes in December, that we're still seeing today. Maybe they iron it out. I don't know, but I'm more optimistic long term in terms of where all of these young players can go than I am them figuring everything out right now. And again, like Adnan said, like we don't even know if this coaching staff is going to be the ones to help see that potential through. There's just a lot unknown, but for now we're just on a roller coaster, and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
one
No,
thing
go ahead. Yeah.
is like when it does come to quarterbacks, I think, between fans, experts, analysts, whatever, we have this like obsession with wanting to predict the future, where we have examples. I mean, we've mentioned like a couple where Drake May was 2-10. I think you said, Kevin, to start his career. Now he, looks good. And there's not a right or wrong answer to this. It's more of like, have you seen enough to Penix of those flash moments where you're like, okay, there's something there. Maybe you haven't seen that, and that's up to you. And there's no right or wrong answer there. But also, it's like, I think of those quarterbacks that we see that are currently still in the NFL, where it's like, there was a time where the Panthers had Baker Field and Sam Darnold on the same team, and just like that. I mean, that's about as bottom as you get right there. And now Baker Mayfield, some people are talking about going to be the MVP this year, or
So
he's up
far,
there.
he is. Yeah.
And it's hard to argue with that. So it's like, I get the frustration, stuff like that, and I'm gonna be honest. Cory will back me up on it. I'm on the fence. I've angry texted him, and I've texted him saying, there's something here. I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend to know. But I've seen, moments where I'm like, okay, there's something there. And then I've seen moments where I'm like, oh shit, like we might be looking for a quarterback soon enough. I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. And I think if people think they know, they're only fooling themselves. It's just one of those things we're not realistically going to know for like, what, 2 or 3 years at the minimum. Like that's just how it works. Like, and we like to put quarterbacks in a box and just say like, well, shit, Matt Ryan, his first ever pass was a touchdown. Like, why isn't that happening?
Yeah.
It's like
reasonable expectations,
different. Yeah, different. Some quarterbacks aren't good until later on in the career. It's all about the situation. If you have a offensive line that struggles, not saying ours isn't built to where like somebody who's a rookie can't have success. I don't know. But if somebody's, behind a horrible offensive line like Baker Mayfield had in Cleveland, you're going to struggle. Like that's just how it is. But at the same time, there are quarterbacks who are in those situations who just turn out to be bad quarterbacks, like Josh Rosen. Everybody thought he was, and then Arizona replaced him next year. He bounced around a little bit. I think he was in Atlanta for 2 seconds. he's out of the league. Like, it just happens. Like, nope, but nobody knows the answer. I think we got to stop kidding ourselves knowing like, oh, Penix is garbage. He's the reason we're losing or whatever. You can have takes on him, but like nobody knows the true answer, and we're not going to forever.
Feels good though. It does feel good to just completely push the whole game board over and you start kicking everything.
Yeah.
I tried it after the Carolina loss. It was great.
Yeah.
It's probably the best I've felt as a
Again,
Falcons fan in years.
He's had to talk me down a couple times. Like, I get heated and crazy about stuff, but like then it comes back down to earth, and it's like, okay, well, we don't know, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We just got to. That's this whole thing, but
I don't know. As the resident negative person in the Discord, it's been kind of fun seeing people like, seeing my view of it, like instead of just arguing with people. But
never wrong, just early.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember last year after they announced that Penix was going to be the starter, I remember tweeting out that it's really unfair that what this team is about to ask of Michael Penix, because they were basically asking him to do what Matt Ryan did for the Falcons, and that's pretty much carry this franchise. And especially like now, like there are jobs legitimately on the line that if Michael Penix isn't, people are getting fired. Like there's no ifs, ands, or like not people, everyone's getting fired. Like that's here today. And that's a very, very intense thing to put on the shoulders of any young quarterback. And I know people are going to make the age thing of, oh, he's not young, he's 25 years old. First of all, 25 years old is young.
I'm love to be 25.
I would take that bet today.
Yeah. But like just in general, like he was a rookie quarterback last year, making his first start in week 16, who, by the way, did not get a single first team rep until like the week of his practice. Again, shout out to the coaching staff, not setting him up for success, but that's neither here nor there. But even Matt Ryan, like it's just, we have been spoiled in Atlanta by what Matt Ryan did. He came in year 1, 11 wins. Year 2, 9 wins, but that was a big deal in Atlanta because it was the first time this franchise has ever had back-to-back winning season. Year 3, 13 wins, 1 seed. Then 2011, there was, I think, 10 wins again.
Yeah.
And then 2012, 13 wins. Like that's not that's not really what you see out of rookie quarterbacks. And even Matt Ryan, you guys mentioned the point. Like Matt Ryan had a lot of help like those first few years. Michael Turner was one of the best engines in the league on offense. And also Matt Ryan had the best offensive line in football for those first 4 or 5 years, for those first like through 2012, especially in 2008. He got sacked 18 times that year. Like 18 sacks for a full season. He got sacked on average like just about once a game. Like that offensive line was taking no prisoners. So it's just, I don't know, the expectation is there. And when you combine, that fan expectation of what we had with the previous guy, combined with the fact that, a lot of guys who are the reason that you're here are fully relying on you to save their jobs, it can be a very, very big thing. And, it's very difficult to put the entire franchise on the shoulders of one player. And if you want to do that, if you really want that to work, you have to set them up for success. Like the Falcons, for all of their faults, as a franchise, 2008, like the regime that came in, they set Matt Ryan up for success. Like Mike Smith was, a hell of a head coach while he was here for those few years. I know that the end wasn't great, but Mike Smith is statistically like the best coach in franchise history. Thomas Dimitroff, right away that first year, 2008, had a killer draft class beyond just Matt Ryan. Set him up, brought in his left tackle in that first round, brought in Harry Douglas, brought in Corey Bierman in that 08 draft. Matt Ryan had a ready-made wide receiver 1 in Roddy White already there, who had 1,000 years the year before. 2011, brought him in Julio Jones. You need to and that's where sort of I really despise doing both in terms of signing Michael or drafting Michael Penix and signing Kirk Cousins, because in free agency you were not able to do everything that you really wanted to do because Kirk Cousins is a $40 million cap hit this year. And I mean, we saw it for the first time this game on this defense is legit. I was wrong about this defense coming into the season. This defense has proven what they need to prove to me. I was wrong. I'll throw my hands up there. But remember, my actual criticisms about the defense is when the starters get hurt, who is going to be there to cover those backup roles? I did not think that this defense had enough depth, and that directly stems from that Kirk Cousins contract. And we saw it directly tonight. Divine Deablo gets hurt. J.D. Bertrand comes in, and he looks terrible. That's your first backup, at middle linebacker. That's not good enough. And we know in the NFL, you're going to have players get hurt. It's just the nature of this sport. You're not going to be fully healthy throughout the entire season. And I still don't know. I'm a believer of the defense overall as long as they stay healthy. But when injuries start to pile up, when when these backups have to play, I don't think that these backups are good enough. And we saw that firsthand tonight when it came to J.D. Bertrand. And again, that directly ties back to this franchise not doing everything that they can to sort of put that rookie quarterback in a successful position, because they decided to galaxy brain this whole thing by both signing Cousins and drafting Penix. And everything has a reaction. Every single thing. It's just this massive domino effect.
And I think that's one of the biggest flaws, I think, in Raheem Morris as a coach, is you can't just believe a guy's success. You can't just stick a guy in there and give him a pep talk and just him go out there and have a Disney moment. The NFL is much more tactical than that. And I feel like there's something Raheem Morris said, during an interview summer of 2024, right before he was about to start his first season back. And he's they were kind of talking to him, how are you going to make this pass rush work? What are you going to do? And he's just they're going to find a way. I'm going to believe them basically to get them the result they want. I'm going to pour belief into them and they're going to go out there and win. And I think that is great when everything goes well. But when you saw tonight, sometimes it is just tactical. It's about who's calling the plays, who is the player out there. It doesn't matter how much you believe in them if they're not going to be able to do the job the way you want it to. And that what's frustrating me because Raheem Morris is smarter. He's smarter than that. Again, he's a very smart football coach. You would not be getting guys like Kyle Shanahan, Mike Tomlin advocating, and Sean McVay advocating for him to be a head coach, right? He has the brain to be really good at this. He's very smart. And I think he's a great leader. But I just think sometimes that this team gets a little too bought into themselves. And tonight, is just if you love J.D. Bertrand, that's great. I'm sure he's a swell guy, but he's not a great coverage linebacker. And when you're playing Christian McCaffrey, if he's your best option, if Divine Deablo goes down, that you're right, that's a problem. So it's just the roster is not tactically built in certain places the way it should. The defensive line can do it. They can handle the injuries right now if things pop up because they have depth and they've built the depth well. But this team still has parts of the roster that just don't quite. Again, receivers the same thing, right? Again, that group has not really come through this year outside of Drake London the way you want. It's not Mooney's fault. It's been hurt, but again, they sat on their hands in the offseason. They just said, we're going to focus on the defense and not add a lot of meaningful pieces to the offense. And you've seen that, right? Again, the tackle depth wasn't where it needed to be even. Again, I get that it sucks that you have two big injuries at right tackle, but it's just this team is kind of perilously thin at certain places where I think they try to cover it up with motivation. And I just don't think that's a sustainable strategy long term.
Yeah. I think the J.D. Bertrand thing in particular is given how important Divine Deablo is to this defense, and to their credit, they papered over it as best they could. I mean, only giving up 20 when the offense turned the ball over and just generally shit the bed, for lack of a better phrasing. That was still a good game by the defense. They didn't collapse without Divine Deablo, but you could tell they were missing him. They were missing him big time. And Bertrand just, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not trying to dish on the kid. I mean, he's a young player, whatever, but so many plays where he just, I'm pretty sure on one of the plays, he just ran into the offensive lineman, ran into the offensive lineman from the side. And it's I'm pretty sure you were supposed to be in that gap back there, JD, that the running back just ran through. And you don't chase the quarterback in that situation. You have Christian McCaffrey. He wasn't actually blitzing on that play. Like the play where they threw it behind, JD Bertrand to Christian McCaffrey that was wide open. Bertrand was simulating a blitz. He stepped up and then backed off, but then when everybody got caught in the trash, he decided he was going to try to run down Mac Jones. You can't just abandon your coverage responsibility. You still have to get the best player on the 49ers offense. You're supposed to cover him, man. Like, what are you doing? It was just constant. Just blown coverages, blown blocks.
They're not playing him to his strengths, and that's the problem. We saw in the Washington game last year, he can be a good blitzer. He can be a solid tackler, but he's not a coverage linebacker. And it's just like, again, they knew when they signed Divine Deablo that he has an injury history. And they've been able to get the best version of him, but it's like you knew when you signed this guy that he had injury issues. Like, you had to get a good backup coverage linebacker on the roster, and it's just like they didn't do that. So it's just like now they're probably going to be scrambling around trying to find somebody if he misses time. And it's just like,
yeah. He's in a sling.
Bertrand's not a coverage linebacker. Like, you got to play him to his strength.
Yeah, he's in a sling, so it seems like he's going to miss time. We'll see what's going on there. But I do want to get to these donations. Thank you guys so much for donating. We were on a serious thing that I didn't want to interrupt our thing. I think our thing was very good, and I hope it was great content for you guys. I hope it makes you feel better about what's going on with this team and gives you guys some insight perhaps and maybe some calming energy, or maybe not. Maybe you're just furious, and that's okay too. But we got Grant Watson with the $2 saying TF better get on the horn and find a nose tackle and linebacker. Yeah, linebacker mostly. I feel like the style of this defense just left, the 49ers took full advantage, but the defensive linemen were making plays. It just wasn't consistent. I think they missed Jalen Walker a lot in this game. I think Jalen Walker is one of their best run defenders. Not having him in the rotation, I think, really hurt, especially on the outside zone. We've seen him be so good at chasing down the runner out there in space, and I think that was an underrated. I feel like it wasn't really talked about that he was not available for this game, and I think that was kind of an underrated piece. Billy Bowman, we know he's a bat out of hell as a run defender. D. Alford, I think, has been fine as a coverage guy. Last week he was awesome too. Filling in. The secondary has not been the same as linebacker. They actually, I think, have invested in getting the secondary where it needs to be with multiple depth pieces there. D. Alford's had to fill in for multiple guys and has largely been, fine there. But they got to do something else at linebacker. We can't roll JD Bertrand out there. It's not going to work. We got Ian McCluskey with the 5. The refusal to give Elijah Wilkinson any help and just leave him on an island was awful coaching. Give him some help. Yeah, maybe you need to move Charlie Werner and put him next to Elijah Wilkinson. Maybe you got to take him out of the backfield. I know Zac Robinson loves to have Charlie Werner in the backfield for some reason. I don't really get it personally, but it's interesting. I'll give it that. Maybe just line him up outside of Elijah Wilkinson so he can help Chip. And maybe he could release into a route every now and again instead of being completely dead in the backfield on those plays in a total waste. So, just saying, maybe consider that.
And the biggest problem now is Jake just revealed post the game he's got a high ankle sprain. He's going to
I don't know how that man got on the field. He looked like he wasn't 100%. But he didn't look like people can't play on that injury. That injury takes people out for 4 to 6 weeks. Usually, at minimum.
The only thing is, I guess, as an offense, I've seen it with offensive linemen where they can, sort of play through it easier versus, a wide receiver or a running back just because of what you're asked to do. You're not asked to, explode on that leg or anything, but still, it's an insanely painful injury. It's a high ankle sprain is, the dreaded injury of fantasy football. Evan knows about it. Where anytime a player has a high ankle sprain, it's oh no, that's awful.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's really not good. The only time I've seen someone really able to get back from it immediately and not have any let up was Mahomes in the playoffs last year. I think he got a high ankle sprain in the playoffs, and then the next week he was out there, but they probably I'm speculating, I'm not reporting, but they probably drugged him with something that's illegal in 37 states to get him out there.
Yeah. It's rough stuff. All right, we got Qui-Gon Fishin', nice, with the $5 saying, when are we going to start blaming Arthur Blank, who really thought hiring a coach with a losing record was the right move. Well, that has been brought up. I think that is a valid concern about this whole decision-making process. Got Brandon Brass with the $2. The game plan for McCaffrey was to leave him open. Yeah, it seems like it. We got Solera with the 5. What's up, Solera? Welcome. Saying Morris, Z-Rob got outcoached by a team playing their second and third stringers. Think both need to be gone. Did we also sign Turf? Because that's where the ball went all game. Yeah, I think, Penix has got to keep the ball in play more, but that's something that's going to come with experience too. Making when you get more comfortable with the routes and the concepts. And I will say, like, I do want to like Darnell Mooney. I think they did look like, I think this was their best connection so far this year. Those two have just never really had an opportunity to get on the same page. Missed all of training camp, and then comes out for a couple games, is hurt, comes back in, gets hurt again. Like, it's just been very disheveled. But I do think like Mooney and Penix look like they had a little bit of a better connection today. So that'll be really big going forward. So I'm hoping that will continue to develop. We got George Costanza with the $2. Why go to Nevada and pay when you could be a Falcons fan and get, screwed over every day for free? I assume he means Las Vegas. Yeah, you save a lot of money being a Falcons fan, I guess, unless you pay to go to the games. In that case, probably aren't saving any money. But the food is good in the stadium. There is that. We always have that. Dislike. I hate Z-Rob. I hate RM. 3rd and 14 game on the line. You drop 8 and they convert. Well, we found out, by the way, that there were 10 players. That's probably why they were rushing 3. Because I can't remember a single time before this play that they ever rushed 3. I think they were missing a defensive lineman. They didn't have a defensive lineman.
It looked like it. It genuinely looked like it.
Because I was like, are they actually rushing 3? Like, this is insane. Like, Raheem Morris doesn't do this. Like.
No. When I saw them rush 3, not only were they rushing 3, but it was like defender, gap, defender, and it's like, look, where's the other guy?
Were they in the bathroom? Like, did they let somebody go to the bathroom? And then
it was
just like
it's a Lamar Jackson poop game just for the defense, unfortunately. But yeah, that's inexcusable. Like, how do you not see? There's like Raheem Morris's like awareness is very bad. We've noticed this time and time again. Doesn't know when to call his timeouts. Isn't watching the play clock to bail out his young quarterback who's only got a handful of starts under his belt. If the play clock is at 1 and they're not about to snap the ball, you have to call timeout. Especially in a situation where you can't afford to delay a game. That's your job, Raheem. That's your job.
And there's so many coaches on the staff. Like, it just makes me wonder if there's just too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, he's getting too much information from too many people. I don't know.
Morris is way too busy watching the Jumbotron. Every single time the camera pans to him, he's just looking up. It's like, pay attention to the damn game, bro.
Maybe watch the play clock. Do something else. Somebody's got to do that. But yeah, that's rough. That's rough. We got Urban TV with the 5. Thank you, Urban, saying, I think the biggest issue of the offense is that anytime they go against heavy man coverage, they struggle. They do tend to. I think like Pitts is a great answer for man, and we did see them go to Pitts more and more today. But yeah, they have, like, how do you not have a playbook for man coverage? Like, they don't run enough concepts that take advantage. Like, where are the pick routes? Where are the rubs? Like, if you're not using all of that stuff to your advantage in the modern NFL, you're not trying. You got to find a way to do it. You got to incorporate it. So, and George says, I still blame Bobby Petrino. He single-handedly made Blank never want to hire a young offensive mind again. So we get nothing but the retreads. Yeah. Bobby Petrino did break Blank's, brain in some way, I think, the way that went down. So yeah, I mean, I blame Bobby Petrino for so many things. So why just throw this on the pile, I guess? I mean, he deserves a lot of blame, in general. We got Lattimore 94 with the 5 saying, hard to talk about growth of team when they rush to rebuild. Stuff like the Kirk contract rearing its ugly head on team building. Yeah, I mean, again, when you try to have your cake and eat it too, sometimes it doesn't work out. Like, I think they were expecting Kirk to at least take them through last season and compete to start this season. And the way it went down with Kirk and everything that he showed, like, he blew it up. I mean,
they expected Kirk to start this year. That's why they structured that contract the way that they did. Yeah, like, no team in their right mind is planning on paying a backup quarterback $40 million against the cap. Like, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's why I'm confused at this group that I see like on Twitter and stuff trying to be like, let's bench Penix and stuff like that and bring Kirk back in. Like, do we forget those last couple games where we could have made the playoffs technically, but last year, but they kept Kirk Cousins in for 5 games and he had like 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions. And then that final game he finally won. It was like we barely beat the Raiders, who were like as bad as they looked this year. They were 10 times worse last year. And it's like people forget that and they think, oh yeah, bring in Kirk Cousins, he'll do a better job. He's less mobile than Penix. So like that pocket presence would be even worse. Like I don't get that. Like I feel like I like dreamt through that, and it's like maybe that Kirk Cousins thing didn't happen. He had literally 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions, and then they're like, yeah, let's get him out of here.
He's
Like,
genius. He's getting
sooner.
paid $37 million to do nothing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that, he's a genius.
Yeah.
Like again, it's
Off-
just like brilliant.
I've made the point earlier in the show, but I'm still baffled. You saw, again, it goes back to coaching. You saw Kirk Cousins do what Evan told you. Like, and he was terrible down that stretch, and you never once thought to, give Penix some reps with the first team in practice. Not even like, not even like play him, which they should have like pulled Kirk Cousins earlier. But like you never even gave Penix a chance last season to really succeed. And again, that goes back to what Cory was saying about this coaching staff believing too much in some of these players when they prove like that they're not sort of deserving of the belief, at least in that moment. Because I'm going back to that Washington game. Michael Penix had some misses, some clear misses where he was just not on with his wide receivers. He was just a beat late. Like, there was that play to, I think that wheel route to Bijan Robinson where he overthrew him. He had some overthrows where you just sort of wonder if he had these reps, if he had, some more reps with this first team for at least a few weeks before this game, would that connection be there? And then, did this really cost them this Washington game, which it really might have. And then as a result, that cost them the playoffs. Again, it's just coaching within the margins. It's this small stuff that you never really consider, that you never really talk about until you sort of talk about it. And it's like, oh, like it's so many small things that add up within the margins, but those things add up to the point where it's like, yeah, like this coaching is a hindrance.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. The coaching is definitely a problem. They got to figure it out because, like, Raheem is such an easy guy to root for, and I feel the same way about Penix. Like, except I feel like Penix is more realistic. Like, I feel like Penix comes out and takes responsibility when he has a bad game, and I feel like Raheem is just he's just too positive. Like, as much as I am like kind of a positive person, it's like I need you to just be a little more like upset sometimes. Like, it's okay to be upset and to call people out sometimes. I'm not saying like we should be backstabbing each other or like throwing each other under the bus, but like it's okay to have a little bit of an edge. And I think Ulbrich has an edge. I love what we've heard from Ulbrich so far. He's hilarious sometimes, but just rough stuff. But all right, we got a couple more donations here. We're gonna wrap up. We got Adrian Russ with the 2-pack here, 2 times $2. Thank you, Adrian. He says, damn it, why? Okay, I got that out of the way. The defense was more than good enough for us to win. I don't know if I can fully blame one part of the offense, but in my opinion, the turnovers and inability to execute in the critical moments cost us. Penix still needs to grow, but give him grace. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good read on it, Adrian. We got Adrian again saying, Elijah Wilkinson, my God, my D3 teammates could have blocked up better on that than that on the fumble. That rep was tough to watch. L's never feel good, but this felt more like inconsistency on offense and missed opportunities than a full-on meltdown like the Panthers. I agree. I mean, the Falcons had multiple opportunities to tie this game in the fourth quarter and just didn't do it. They didn't execute in critical moments, like you said, and that's what determines wins and losses in the NFL. The margins are tight. You get that field goal before halftime that was a gimme and not, blow it. And then you get a touchdown on one of those drives in the fourth quarter, and you're talking about being tied at the end of this game. So, it was rough. It was a tough game, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't think I would panic about this. We could talk about the 49ers being hurt all we want, but that team, despite it all, is like the number 1 passing offense in the NFL, and they were 4-2 going to this game, and they're in their home stadium. They got back George Kittle, who's clearly somehow a bigger piece of their run game than their passing game. Like he apparently is the missing piece to their rushing
might
attack.
be the best non-offensive line run blocker in the NFL.
I think he is.
He's incredible.
He's incredible. So that was a big boost for them, and it was just a tough loss, but this loss doesn't make me panic. Like that Panthers game was panic, and it was justified.
Yeah.
This was not that. It was
panic game.
That game
So
almost
bad.
made Cory like put on a hood, like a dark hood of like a dark Sith Lord or something, and just become the new pessimist of Falcons Twitter. We talked him off the ledge, but this game didn't make him go to the dark side. So that should tell you guys that it's not.
Man, I was defending Desmond Ritter.
I know.
Like
It
2
was
years
dark
ago
times.
this time.
It was
Like,
dark times, yeah.
I'll defend anything that's Falcons, like just trying to find the positive. But man,
I have
was
a
close.
Cory meter. Like if Cory starts freaking out about something, and I feel like I'm not, I'm like, oh shit, I need to be like freaking out more or something's going. Like,
I need to be more. I need to take this more seriously. This is actually it.
Yeah. If Cory missing something,
He's like the canary. He's the canary in the coal mine.
absolutely.
Sometimes I'm very wrong. I was way too defensive. I remember I wrote something for the Falcoholic like November of 2018. It was like, man, we should be thankful that Dan Quinn is our head coach. And it was just all. I don't know, man. Sometimes being super optimistic is not the right thing in football.
problem
Sometimes
is
taking Adnan's approach is the most pragmatic approach, and you're more often right because usually things don't go well.
With
The
this
problem-
franchise, yeah.
He watched the Bills game in Hawaii. We need to send him back to Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's the
That was
problem.
the thing. Yeah,
Well,
I feel like this might.
yeah.
Well,
Kevin, you got some budget here, right?
Yeah,
We can-
we'll get right on that. Yeah.
It's
It's like if anybody wants to send me to Hawaii, I'll go. I mean, I'll go
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
That's
Corey's
fine with me.
down. So
Send it
yeah,
back.
guys, we'll start the Cory to Hawaii fund after.
Yeah, you
let's
gotta
get
send
that going.
Adnan to Hawaii. He's done
That's
these
right.
live shows way more than I have, and I feel like he needs that joy in his life. Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, this team's giving me no joy. Like since I've joined like this team has given me like no joy at all. Like we haven't done anything since I joined the Falcoholic.
Yeah, it's a
But at
shame.
what point is it our fault? Like we know this is going to be what happens every single time. Like for the last however long the team's been in existence. Like
It's Lucy
there's
with the
always a
football
little bit of
every year.
culpability. Like we choose to
Yeah.
do this. Like nobody's making us.
Oh, I mean, there's like 270 people still watching this at 1 a.m. on the
It's
East
1 a.m., bro, on the East
We all
Coast.
have a problem, okay?
It's Stockholm
We have a
syndrome.
problem.
It's like
It's
we're in
not
love
us.
with our captor.
We have
Yeah.
a problem, and it can only be solved with late night therapy sessions like
well,
this. So
You
yeah,
can always do what those Panthers guys did and just quit and make Bleacher Report apparently as a result.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think the Panthers have lost a game since they quit. By the way, they're like
No.
3-0.
Apparently they were the problem. So I mean, I guess we've never tested what happens if we quit. But I can't quit. I like it too much. But even when this team sucks, I still like coming on here and talking to you guys. So at least we have that no matter what. But all right, we got three more donations, maybe. Corey says Darnold has got to get out at the end of the half and save that timeout and keep Penix out of that situation. You're absolutely right, Corey. That was a big mistake on Darnell Mooney's part. We got Ian McCluskey with the 5 saying photo. Yeah, we just covered this, but this came in before we talked about it. Photo going around that we ran out 10 players on the critical 3rd and 13 that CMC picked up at the end. Explains why he was so wide open. Yes, it does. That is one of the most, if not that's maybe the second most frustrating play. I think the halftime blunder was probably the most frustrating, but that was second. Sour Pickle, love that name always, with the $5 saying, not that it matters, but what's up with the second touchdown for the Niners where the O-lineman pulled CMC in? That was an illegal play. That should have been a 10-yard penalty. They missed it. Probably wouldn't have mattered, but I would have liked to have seen it enforced properly, I guess is what we'll say there. But yeah.
But the thing is, they never enforced that play.
Yeah,
it's in the rule book. I've never seen that called once in my life.
Yeah. So technically it was illegal. So, if it had mattered, if it was that was the difference between the Falcons winning and losing, we were within 7 points, then I would have probably been more upset. But I was like, this doesn't matter. They're
Refs
probably
wanna go home. They're not gonna call it.
Yeah,
They wanna go
exactly.
home.
Yeah.
They wanna go to bed.
I feel like if the game was closer, if it was tied when that happened or something, better chance that gets called. But as it is, probably not. We got Shea Ellison with the 5. Thank you. If we're bringing back Matt Bryant, let's just bring Mike Smith back as well. I mean, I'm down. Like if Mike Smith's heart can take it, like I'm down.
No, leave Mike
So
Smith alone, man.
yeah,
Like Mike
he
Smith
deserves
is enjoying
retirement, though.
retirement.
Yeah, just let that
Like-
man rest. Yeah,
He's down in the villages in Florida.
he's just chilling. He's
just
big
resting
chilling.
the day away. That's what he
Yeah.
deserves.
I spoke with someone who like knows of Mike Smith, like post like football, and he says like that Mike Smith just straight up like does not like watch football. Like he's just sort of like enjoying his life now, and that's
for him.
you know, very much good for him. I'm very happy for Coach Smith.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So we got Shea Ellison with the last donation. We got $5 saying what this offense is really missing is more Felipe Franks. Obviously, yeah, we didn't have any Felipe Franks today. I think that is the secret, actually. I think if we had Felipe Franks, yeah, if we could have.
Unironically, like sneaking Felipe Franks on 4th and 1 would have been a better play than what they like came up with.
Yeah, 3rd and I would have done it on like I hate that 3rd and 1 call like more. Like
That was so bad.
Drake London dropped the 4th and 1 pass. Do I love that play? Like it's not necessarily my favorite play there, and like it was really dangerous with how much they were loading the line of scrimmage and everything. But like Drake should have caught that still. But the 3rd and 1 call was ridiculous. Like you can't make your running back do this. Like it's too, especially against that defense that was showing over and over again. They were getting penetration. Like, so what you need to do is prevent them from getting, like, don't give them an opportunity to catch him in the backfield. Bring it closer to the line of scrimmage. It's just bizarre
That's the
to me.
thing.
Yeah.
Ram it twice up the middle and just get as much yardage as you can on the 3rd. And if you don't get it, just do it again. Like, I mean, it's like, it's elementary. And I know it's probably not. There's probably way more that goes into it because I'm a dumbass and they're professionals. But like, it doesn't seem that hard. But I don't know. Maybe it is.
Yeah. I mean, short yardage and red zone play calling is the hardest. I understand, but like, these are the guys that get paid the big bucks to do it. So we have high expectations here. And then we got Adrian Russ with a under the wire here saying with the $2 saying, you're right, we do have a problem, a playoff and coping problem. I've been coping since 2017 when I was a junior in high school. Oh man. Yeah, shout out. It's been a minute since I was a junior in high school, so shout out to Adrian. But,
man, I got to watch the Falcons lose, and now I have to think about the passage of time.
Now we add existential dread to the pod here. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up on that note. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Falcon Live. We do have first look at next week. Luckily, Falcons have the Dolphins at home. Nothing could possibly go wrong with that game. Nothing could possibly go wrong there, right? I mean,
that's fireable.
Oh my God! If they lose,
they
the
lost
Dolphins
to the Dolphins, who had Jay Cutler ripping cigarettes on the sideline.
I remember
in
that game.
2017. I'm never counting anything out. Like anything is possible.
Yes.
This would be like this game. I know 3 and 4 in a vacuum, not like awful, but this would be a catastrophic loss given what the Dolphins are doing right now. Like that team may bench Tua next week.
Yeah.
Like he isn't that bad.
Not to look beyond that, but like the next two are arguably two of the hottest teams. I think we play the Colts and the Patriots.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it is, but the Colts game's in Germany even more.
Yeah. It's Patriots in New England and then Colts in Germany. I mean next week just while the Dolphins are here, just show Mike McDaniel around the facility and have him pick an office for next season.
Yeah, you could that offensive coordinator chair will be nice and warm for him at the very least. So, all right, guys. Well, yes, the betting markets seem to be pretty confident and not overreacting to this Falcons loss. They have Atlanta as 7.5-point favorites right now, according to FanDuel. So, pretty heavy favorites here, and I think that also goes to show the Dolphins are arguably the worst team in the NFL right now. So nothing could possibly go wrong.
When you rookie debut, we know how it goes in Atlanta.
Oh man, are they gonna start Quinn Ewers? Yeah, Zach Wilson maybe. Yeah.
I mean, if McDaniel is there, but if they fire him, that new head coach bounce, is that also like a thing too?
That is a thing. That is a thing to monitor. So we'll keep an eye on that. But theoretically, it should be an opportunity for the Falcons to sort of get right, and you know, I'm not predicting any sort of blowout or anything, but hopefully the Falcons can at least take care of business.
Hey
this
man,
weekend.
when
But,
there's
yeah,
like however long to go in the third quarter and you're up 28-3, you should hold on to the damn
Hey,
lead. You know,
that-
should be.
Oh,
I
no,
that's
that-
never
that's
gone
already
wrong for
enough.
any. I refuse to believe. I don't think that's ever gone wrong for a
All
team.
right, Kevin, end the show.
Yeah. On that note, yes.
That's
Thank
enough.
you guys. Yeah.
It's a
no.
Oh.
Guys, thank you for joining us here on the Falcon Live presented by FanDuel. Want to thank everyone for hopping in tonight. All of our wonderful viewers, of course, but also our trio. We got a quintet tonight. That's a rare sight. We got Cory Woodroof.
A quartet. A quintet.
Oh, you're
would be
right. It's
five,
quartet. It's past 1. It's past 1 a.m. I'm losing my Latin here, but yes, it's a quartet. Quintet would be very rare, but we got Cory Woodroof at Cory Woodroof 47. We got Adnan Ikic at Say Which Way. We got Evan Birchfield at Evan Birchfield. We got a full house for you guys tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please do like and subscribe. Please do give us a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice if you enjoyed the show. If you want to support the show, you can do so on Patreon, patreon.com/FalconHawkLive, or you can hit us up with the YouTube channel memberships as well. Thank you to all of our night owls. We'll be back to a normal 1 p.m. game schedule, I think, for the next couple weeks or something similar, before we have to get up bright and early for, I think, Germany in maybe 3 weeks. So,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I just thought about the Falcons playing the hottest team in the NFL, the Colts, at 9:30 a.m.
They're
God,
probably
the
going to play great in that game. They're probably going to play great in that game. Yeah. Yeah, they'll lose to like the Dolphins or something, and then they'll beat the Colts. Yeah, just
I
because.
was gonna say there's a chance that, like, you know, your entire morning is ruined before before your second
Hey.
cup of coffee.
Nothing will be as bad as watching the Falcons get the crap kicked out of them by the Jaguars while they're Toy Story characters on a Sunday morning. That was a new low.
No,
Yeah.
I could watch it.
Yeah.
I think it was like something weird where I was like blacked out or something, but like the only way I could watch it was the Toy Story version.
Oh, I mean, I
Okay.
thought you were gonna say you were blacked out from like the night before.
Yeah.
Blacked out.
That's what
Okay,
happens after we
No,
get
this
blown
is a
out in
fan-
Berlin. Yeah, we get blown out in Berlin, then we have more time for drinking the rest of the day. So,
but-
we can really get blown out. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was the game where everyone else finally started seeing my point of view with Desmond Ridder. Like, you know, all of a sudden the arguments in the chat started going down. My Twitter mentions, stopped like it being as venomous.
Yep. Oh man, what a time that was.
They kind of retired that after that game.
They
didn't
did. Yeah, they were like, oh, we
Had
can't do this to
Pixar didn't
people.
want any part of the Falcons. That was the
Yeah,
thing.
I just remember
no.
like Trevor Lawrence's little toy figure just like
Yeah.
going crazy.
Yeah. Oh God. I didn't think I was gonna have to relive that nightmare tonight, but we witnessed real nightmares, and now we finish with some deep cut nightmares of our own. But guys, thank you so much for joining us here. We'll see you next time on the Falcon Live. We'll be back with Tuesday Takes with Trayshawn early this week. Falcon Live on Wednesday, and then of course game preview coming to you guys later in the week as we get prepped for Week 8 against the Miami Dolphins. Falcons with a chance, of course, to get above 500 once again, going into a pretty tough 2-game stretch after that. So we will hope that they can right the ship, fix the mistakes, and they've done a good job of not losing multiple games in a row. So if they can at least keep that going, that'll help a lot. So thank you guys so much. Thanks to Evan and Cory and Adnan for hanging out late tonight. We will see you guys next time on the Falcon Live. Have a great night, folks. Thanks.